Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, the unfinished business is the vote on the adoption of House Concurrent Resolution 38, on which the yeas and nays are ordered. The clerk will report the title of the concurrent resolution.
Concurrent Resolution 38, concurrent resolution directing the President, pursuant to Section 5C of the War Powers Resolution, to remove United States Armed Forces from unauthorized hostilities in the Islamic Republic of Iran.
The question is on the adoption of the concurrent resolution. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 5-minute vote.
Welcome back to 45th Perspective. Today we're talking about something that sparked a lot of debate in Washington recently. The House of Representatives blocked a war powers resolution that was meant to curb former President Donald Trump's ability to take military action against Iran. This issue touches on something much bigger than one politician or one vote. It raises questions about who really has the authority to decide when the United States goes to war and how much power should rest with the President versus Congress. Before we get into the conversation, if you enjoy thoughtful discussions about politics and world events, make sure to like this video and subscribe to 45th Perspective. It really helps the channel grow. And if you want to support the work we do here, you can also check out our Patreon at patreon.com/45th Perspective. Your support helps keep independent discussions like this going. So let's talk about what actually happened. A war powers resolution was introduced in the House that aimed to limit the president's ability to launch or escalate military action against Iran without congressional approval. The idea behind this kind of resolution comes from the War Powers Act of 1973. That law was passed after the Vietnam War because many lawmakers believed presidents had gained too much power to involve the United States in military conflicts without Congress formally agreeing. The principle behind it is simple. The Constitution gives Congress the authority to declare war, but over time presidents have increasingly taken military actions without a formal declaration. The War Powers Act was supposed to create a check on that power by requiring presidents to notify Congress when troops are involved in hostilities and limiting how long those operations can continue without approval. In this case, the resolution that was proposed would have forced the administration to seek congressional authorization before taking certain military actions against Iran. But the House blocked it, meaning it didn't move forward in a way that would significantly restrict presidential authority. When I look at this situation, I can see why people feel strongly about it from different directions. On one side, there are those who believe the president needs flexibility when dealing with national security threats. Military decisions can sometimes require quick responses. Waiting for a long legislative debate could potentially slow down action in situations where timing matters. But on the other side, I also understand the argument that decisions about war shouldn't be made by one person alone. War is one of the most serious decisions any country can make. It affects soldiers, families, taxpayers, and the entire global political landscape. Because of that, many people feel Congress should have a much bigger role in deciding whether the United States enters or escalates a conflict. Personally, when I think about it, what stands out to me is how this debate has been going on for decades. It's not new, and it's not limited to one administration or one political party. Presidents from both parties have expanded the use of military force without formal declarations of war. Congress has sometimes pushed back, but often it has also allowed those powers to grow. That makes me wonder whether the system is functioning the way it was originally designed. The founders of the United States intentionally separated powers between branches of government. Congress was given the authority to declare war partly because they believed such decisions should involve broader debate and representation. At the same time, the president was made commander-in-chief so the country could respond quickly to threats. In theory, that balance makes sense. But in practice, the lines have become blurred over time. Another thing that strikes me about this vote is how complicated these issues become once politics enters the picture. Discussions about war powers often get framed through partisan lenses. People sometimes support or oppose these resolutions depending on who is in the White House at the time. That makes it harder to have a consistent conversation about the underlying principle. For me, the real question shouldn't be about one individual or one moment. The bigger question is what kind of system Americans want when it comes to decisions about military force. Should those decisions be centralized so responses can be fast and decisive? Or should they require broader approval so that the country as a whole has a voice before entering potential conflicts? There's also the international dimension to consider. Actions involving countries like Iran can have major consequences globally. Tensions in that region already involve multiple nations and alliances. Even a limited military strike can escalate quickly depending on how other countries respond. That's why decisions involving military force carry so much weight. When lawmakers debate resolutions like this one, they're not just talking about a legal technicality. They're really debating how the United States should approach power, accountability, and risk in the international arena. At the same time, I think it's important to acknowledge something many Americans feel: frustration. A lot of people look at Washington and feel that these debates sometimes happen without clear answers or real changes. Votes come and go, but the broader questions about war powers seem to remain unresolved year after year. That frustration is understandable. War decisions are not abstract policy issues. They involve real people and real consequences. When young Americans join the military, they trust that the leaders making decisions about deployments and conflicts have carefully weighed every option. That responsibility is enormous. It's not something that should ever be taken lightly. So when I look at the House blocking this resolution, I don't see it as a simple victory or defeat for one side. What I see is another chapter in a long debate about how the United States balances power between its branches of government. And honestly, I think that debate is healthy as long as it continues to happen openly. Democracies are supposed to wrestle with difficult questions like this. The danger isn't disagreement. The danger would be if these questions stopped being asked altogether, and in the end, the vote reminds us that the issue of war powers isn't settled. It's something that will likely come up again in the future, especially whenever tensions rise internationally. What matters most is that citizens stay informed and engaged in these conversations. Because decisions about war, peace, and military power ultimately shape the direction of a nation. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about the House blocking this resolution? Do you think the president should have broad authority to act quickly in military situations? Or should Congress play a stronger role before military action is taken? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, let's keep the discussion respectful. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to 45th Perspective for more thoughtful discussions on politics and world events. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can join us on Patreon at patreon.com/45th Perspective. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
On this vote, the yeas are 212, the nays are 219. The concurrent resolution is not adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.